October 19, 1835. It was 189 years ago to the night that the attempted kidnapping of 12-year-old Eunice Day occurred right here at the Josiah Day House. Now, it was around midnight that the kidnapper broke in through the front entryway here and grabbed Eunice from her bedroom, which was located on the first floor. But it wasn't until they reached the threshold of the entryway that Eunice would wake up and realize what was happening. Now, the kidnapper got about a few rods away from the house with Eunice, a rod being about 16 feet, when she began to kick and scream, receiving scratches and bruises while attempting to get away from the kidnapper. But it was her screams that caused her father, Aaron, to wake up, and so he would run downstairs, outside the house, and see what was happening. And then the kidnapper released Eunice and took off. So what became of this? Well, one of West Springfield's selectmen, Linus Bagg, placed an ad in the newspaper offering a $500 reward for anybody that had any information on the kidnapper. The $500 would equate to about $18,000 in today's value. Unfortunately, the kidnapper was never found. As for Eunice, she would go on to marry Reverend Isaiah Blitz in 1847, whom she would have 7 children with. Shortly after their marriage, they would head out to Turkey and begin doing missionary work. They would also do missionary work out in Egypt, and it is there that Isaiah would pass away in 1889. So Eunice would return home to the Josiah Day House, where she would live for some time. But in 1913, while living out in New York, she would pass away. Now, a little before then, in 1903, Eunice and her sister Amanda sold the Day House to a group of West Springfield residents who were interested in preserving it. This group would become known as the Ramapogue Historical Society, who 121 years later continues to preserve the Day House as a museum. Now, what is the historical significance of the Josiah Day House? Well, it's considered to be the oldest brick saltbox style house, not just in Massachusetts, but in the United States. It was built by Eunice's great-grandfather, Josiah Day, in 1754. Now, a little interesting note with Josiah, he was a part of a committee who petitioned for the second parish of Springfield to become incorporated as a town on July 15, 1756. Unfortunately, Josiah would not see that come to fruition as he would pass away in 1770, and West Springfield won't be incorporated as a town until 1774. Now, as far as the property's history goes, it originally belonged to Reverend John Woodbridge, West Springfield's first minister. But in 1718, Reverend Woodbridge would pass away, and so his wife Jemima would sell the property to Joseph and Elizabeth Barnard. 10 years later, in 1728, Joseph would pass away, and so Elizabeth would marry again, this time to a gentleman by the name of Joseph Woodbridge, who shortly enough was the son of Reverend Woodbridge. But on September 3rd, 1746, Joseph and Elizabeth would sell the property to Josiah, as highlighted here in this deed. And 8 years later, he would build his brick saltbox style home, which would be owned by the Day family for about 150 years and last through 4 generations. The last consisting of Eunice, Amanda, Lucinda, and Lydia, who are highlighted in a photo in the Day House. In 1975, the Josiah Day House was placed on the National Register of Historic Places 1 year after West Springfield's bicentennial celebration, and it continues to be one of the town's most historic and prominent landmarks.